Okay, guys, welcome back. So I'm gonna make this one full of ginger and beans and probably get the channel shut down. I don't know. But I just came off watching the Welsh Viking, and you guys know we had some trolls, on the channel. I've been hitting them with the banhammer. Yay! Anyhow, I just came off the Welsh Viking and was talking about how, reenactment isn't real battle. And I'm like scrolling through the comments, and they have one of the Brawlhalla dudes show up at a reenactment because they gotta ruin everything. And he was actually trying to fight like he was in an actual war. So they had to call the cops on him because we don't do that if we're doing reenactment. We're not trying to hit each other or anything. I don't care what kind of reenactment it is, if it's Viking, if it's Star Wars fantasy, if it's something else. The point is to have fun. It's not to try to kill each other, though you can still get seriously hurt like any other sport. And, what do you do with the Brawlhalla types? Because they always show up everywhere and they always got to ruin everything, and they're all attached to the Allfather. Like I said in the community tab, and I said in yesterday's video, which was actually filmed earlier today, you had a 1 in 3 chance if you died a warrior of making it either Freya picked you or Odin picked you. Some say Freya got first pick, so you could have went to Freya. You could have went to Odin, or either one of them could have went. Don't want you, and you could have ended up in hell. So you have like a 1 in 3 chance. If you end up in Freya's place, we don't know what you did for the rest of eternity. Probably have fun. If you ended up in Hell's place, she had a banquet for her people, probably had good stuff. If you end up in the Allfather's place, and we keep it real for the real Viking bros out there, welcome to eternity of being hacked apart as you would have been on a medieval battlefield. It wasn't pretty. I'm an English major. We had reenactment photos that we had to see, and we also had graphically illustrated art that we got to see because, as we were doing, especially as you're doing Shakespeare, the English department is like, no, you have to know what it looks like when somebody's been disemboweled in, authenticity, man. You have to know what you're putting into the character. It was horrible. Can you imagine every day for the rest of eternity getting disemboweled or your head chopped off or just chopped into pieces? And remember, this isn't a Disney Pixar film. This isn't Happily Ever After where you go up there and the first day they give you a hug and then they send you to the training area. No, they throw you into combat. And I don't care if you train from, 7 or however young you trained to the rest of your life. There's a huge difference between doing it for fun and doing it with the intent of murdering someone. And can you imagine all these basically noobs being thrown against actual Vikings? I was telling Loki, I said I think the Allfather's gonna have like tickets. I could see Odin doing this, be a very Odinic thing to do, to have like a amphitheater around the battlefield and probably jumbotrons by now, but he'll keep it real for the Viking bros, and they'll have the swords and the axes and the spears and everything. And you'll just get to watch the actual Vikings just skewer the noobs for all eternity. I said, this is gonna be horrible. I said, if you went to other countries like say Greece, getting disemboweled every day was a punishment from the gods. Why would you think it's heaven? I've seen combat veterans say there is no way they want to go to Valhalla. They ain't going. If they're sent, they will dissent. They aren't going to take part in any kind of crazy die every day, being disemboweled or having your limbs chopped off or being hacked into pieces or just being stomped to death. And God, if there are war horses, Gods only know if you're fighting the Vikings. God only know, like some of them were just, you can read back through the history. Some of them would like run through the streets. I'm gonna put a warning on this one. Run through the streets as during a raid, and they would pick up small humans and throw them up in the air and go. Psh. Can you imagine fighting a maniac like that in real life? That would be your worst nightmare. You wouldn't want to fight that. You would not. And, he's trying to point out to these people, you're not an actual Viking. You're not an actual Viking. Even if you think you are, you're not. You don't have the mindset. You don't have the mindset. You haven't had to go through what they would. We don't even know if, you know, speaking realistically, we hope and we feel that Valhalla would still be open. We don't even know if Valhalla would still be open. I mean, if you're going to go for that romance of swords and shields, and those doors close the moment the weapon's upgraded, what are you going to do by the time, I was watching Lost Viking? By the time gunpowder and heavier armor was invented, those doors would have been closed. What if you do all this training just to go there and you find out the doors were closed? He actually has his army. It was apocalyptic literature about Ragnarok was based on the population size at the time. He's had his army for centuries. Like somewhere else in therapy with the Vikings that didn't make it, but I'd like to go to. It's just there's nothing you can do with a Viking bro or sis. I can Viking sis, I guess, and I run into both. You can't do anything with them. They really have that. They've gone so far into Fantasyland. They think they're going to Valhalla, and there's nothing you can do to them. They think they're a big, strong warrior, and they're going to pick up their sword and shield and go to Valhalla. Where I'm like, until they introduce space lasers to Valhalla, I'm not interested. I'm like, why would you want to do that for all eternity? Seriously, why would you want to get disemboweled violently or have your head chopped in half or, be just torn into pieces or whatever else? I mean, people would bite, people would fight like mountain men, and I mean bite to take out portions of humans, not just there was no rules of gentility, they fought like wild animals. Why would you want to go through that? It sounds like punishment. It honestly sometimes I've thought it sounds like something the Christians wrote because, the Christian afterlife is peace for all eternity. It's eternal worship service too, to be sure, but it's peace for all eternity. So these bad Vikings have this bad, horrible afterlife where you have to fight all the time. We just don't know. So there's really nothing you can do with a Viking bro or sis. You're just not going to get it through to them that they're not a Viking and that this would be a horrible, horrible afterlife to go to. And that if you do serve the old man in the here and now, one of the things you have to get used to is that thankfully you're not going to be with him for all eternity. Sorry, baby. But you're not going to be with him for all eternity, at least not, in that kind of aspect. You're not going to be, fighting, in Valhalla every day. Thank the gods that you're not going to be there, pray to the gods if you end up anywhere, it's in hell or with Freya or Loki or anyone else. I've often wondered if that's where the bad Vikings went to the All Father, because that's torment for all eternity until you die one final time, and then that's it, babe. So, that was kind of spicy. Probably have to put a bunch of warnings on that one, but it's been one of the things I've dealt with for years. These people think they're true, legitimate Vikings living now, or they think they're werewolves or some kind of crazy nonsense. And it's like, I don't have the psych ward and the medication to fix you, but please go away. Savage. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.